Hello beautiful souls, this is Vanita Kumar, also known as Twinflameunion, bringing you guys in this week's pep talk and empowerment. What are your go-to spiritual tools? As we are embarking towards the end of the 2020 year, though this would be a timeless video for those that are hopping into this channel for the first time, stick around because there's going to be lots of insights for you as well. But for those that are the regulars, I wanted to hop on and do a video, a compiled video of some of the most powerful manifestation tools that one can actually have in their spiritual journey, especially if you are actually a twin flame, because as you know that being a twin flame is not the easiest thing that we have chosen to live as an experience. It has its trials, right? It has its highs and lows. So especially when we are getting triggered constantly to ground our energies and everything else around it. So this will be that video, and you may want to grab a book or a journal or something that you can actually jot some notes down, because I'm going to be going through it like a rapid fire, because there's tons of things actually that I can actually talk about, and I made a list as usual. So but before we actually dive deep into this topic, let's hit it. And welcome back. For those that are new to this channel, please do not forget to hit like, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell. If you want to actually book any services with me, you can actually do that directly from the link in the description. It'll lead you into my website, and you can actually directly purchase and book from there. And I always forget to mention, I just want to say also that for those that are purchasing my services and are going to in the future, just to let you know, 10% of all Twinflameunion sales actually go to Red Cross. So that's something that I started in October for the goodwill of humanity, as well as another one that's very close to my heart is BCSPCA, and how these guys cater to the program is they actually look after the animal cruelty. So it's not just domestic, they actually look after, if you go into their website, you can actually see that they actually look after the wildlife as well. So it's something that's very close to my heart, so I decided to go with the two well-known ones. So yes, 10% of the sales actually go there as well. So you, by clicking into my services or booking with me, you're actually putting another work as well. I mean, you're getting a service as well as doing something for mankind and the animals as well. So so this is something that I wanted to do for a while, and that is in place now. So anyways, we are gonna now dive deep into this topic and see what we've got. So I know that a lot of you have already started some of the things that that is good for manifesting. So I just want to mention that that I have a list as well, and you can just go through your list and see which ones actually you've already started doing and which ones you need to do. So yeah, stay tuned. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the energy, especially when you're on a twin flame journey or on a spiritual journey. You're constantly getting downloads, and the only way you can actually ground your energy is and deal with the highs and lows of the ascension process is to have some really good tools as well to help you further along. I have to say that I really get affected by what's happening around me in terms of the energies that are outside. Unless I've actually gotten a very massive healing session, it usually never usually affects me. And this just goes to show that some of these things that I'm going to talk about, how important they are in your day-to-day ascension tools. Because I mean, I have a full-time job, and then I have my full-time mission. So that's 2.5 jobs that I do. The only time I actually have full rest is when I'm actually sleeping, and actually try to have also a social life, because that's a balance that I like to do, because I have really good people around me. So that just goes to show that when I can do something like this, as well as I've got a very powerful journey, I put in my time in my journey, and I actually work one-on-one with healers and everything, so that I'm actually also going through my own journey process. So it just goes to show that when you actually know how to balance everything, everything aligns, right? So, and how I actually go about doing this is through this list. So I do all of them. See if any of this resonates to you, any of you. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is mantras. And for the last 2 years consecutively, I start with 7 Siddh mantras, and that's just Hindu mantras that I have, so you can download any from the YouTube, because there's tons of them there. So another one would be the solfeggio frequencies that you can actually download, and I actually sleep with those as well. When I'm actually sleeping, I actually have about 8 hours of those as well. So that's about majority of the time that I actually listen to those. So I turn the music on in the morning, and I just go about doing whatever I need to do, and the vibration of the mantras actually just kind of emit everywhere, through the walls, everything, right? So I start my day process that way, and you can actually listen to hymns, anything that's spiritual, anything that it's a routine. So you have to see which ones work out for you. But I found that those ones are the ones that I actually listen to, and I swear by that, because that starts my day. And if you are rushing, going to work, you can have those downloaded and listen to in your car as well, right? So it's or if you're commuting to work or whatever have you, you can actually download it to your device and listen to it as well. So try to, I mean, I listen to 7. You can try with just maybe 1 or 2. That's okay too. I'll leave it up to you which ones you want to try. But mantras are huge, because you're starting your day, and or hymns, whatever have you, any kind of spiritual something, right? So you'll find that will actually work. Another thing is your daily grounding. So I'm going to be actually creating that. I'm in the works to have Phil, the guy that I actually get my my music from for the meditation, he's going to be actually making something for me. So I'm just leaving it to him. As soon as he has it ready, by the end of this month, you guys will have that. And that's going to be a short, I'll try to keep it to a few minutes, so that you have a quick grounding meditation that you'll do in the morning, and then at the end of the night, you're going to just close it off, kind of thing, before you go to bed. So it's going to help many, and I'm going to have that for the month of December. So that's going to come out as well. So for those that are new and you haven't seen my meditation section, you want to have a look at that too. Speaking of which, meditations. Now, if you haven't, if this is something that is new to you, your spiritual journey is new and you haven't got many spiritual downloads yet, a good way to practice would be meditations. Because the reason why I say that is that once you start getting into the jazz of getting meditations done, there's tons in YouTube. I have some there as well. When you start actually getting into the mode of it, then what you want to do is after a while you'll see that those things don't work. The reason why they don't work is because you've actually gone past that. So that's when you have to actually start aligning with the healers. Because in the beginning stages of my journey, I always talk about this, that I was not born spiritual. This is something that, and spiritual and being religious is two different things. I was into my religion, but the spiritual aspect came much later. So when I was awakened to the twin flame journey. So I never actually did meditations. I didn't even know what the heck they were to me. And you can actually concur, the ones that were completely out of the spiritual community, you would know that, for most people, they assume that if you need to do meditations, you go sit under a tree and you meditate. That's how I really honestly thought that's what it was. And put it in the comments if you were one of those that thought that, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people were under the impression that you go and sit underneath the tree and you're just quiet, you quiet your mind and close your eyes and you try to meditate. It just goes to show that when you are completely not aware, then you're not aware, or how naive you can be. It's something. So anyways, yeah, that was my impression in the beginning, that's what it was. And of course, as you know, when you start meditating, you have some really nice ones on YouTube. You get to actually see that that's not what it is. It's very, very different. And I know that I got lots of downloads in the beginning, and it actually helped me further along. And now I'm come to the point where the free ones on YouTube unfortunately do not work. Amazingly, my meditations still work on me, so I talk about that very freely. But I still have an open mind. I still check it out. Some of my favorite ones that people, some of the really good healers that I have a look at those too. And but I find that now, because I've gotten past all that, I have to actually book with healers to get the better version out of that. So, take it as you resonate. But when you are at that point where you're not getting much out of the meditation, the ones that are free, is because you're actually surpassed that and you need to actually start booking with healers. So it's, again, it's a mix and match, as well. So for those that, cannot afford it right now, set the intention and try to manifest it as well as mix and match. So that will go a long way as well. So that was that. Second thing that I want to talk about, well, actually I already talked about two things here. So the third one would be candles. So now I know that many people know candles are very, very auspicious, but there's many aspects of that. And it's cheap to get. It actually purifies the energy. It's any time you have stagnant energy around the house or around your living space, or even if you're setting up an intention for a healing session, you want to actually set up the intention for trying to have the place cleared. And another good way would be the candles. And I'll tell you a little story about this as well. It just goes to show that how important paying attention to any of all of this stuff is, because it really, really makes a difference. In the beginning stages of my journey, when I was lighting candles, I saw purple hues coming from the flame. And I remember I mentioned this to somebody. She's a medium, and I mentioned, I'm like, oh my God, look at this. And she said, I'm thinking Saint Germain, and I didn't even know who the hell Saint Germain was to begin with. I was so new to the entire spiritual concept, so I only knew about my Hindu gods and the obvious Christian gods, and the Chinese ones, Buddha and all that. Like, they were people, the deities that I didn't know existed. I knew that they were there, but how much connection I had with others, I had no idea, and I freaking had no idea who Saint Germain was. So I didn't think much of it because I thought, okay, he's Saint Germain, okay, whatever, but as I started going further into the journey, the spiritual aspect of it, slowly, I started learning about Saint Germain, and sure enough, now in 2020, I've got him as my shamanic teacher, and as well as one of my biggest guides, and I didn't see that coming at all, actually. And from all the meditations that I've got, and actually from all the videos, my violet flame, just goes to show, is one of the highest viewed one so far and liked by many, because it just goes to show that when you have something that authentic with you, it's very, very powerful. So yeah, I use that all. I use the violet flame in my healing sessions with clients, and they get lots of downloads on that, and I personally get them too. But yeah, I had no idea much about that, and the story started with me going on with the medium, and actually he came forward because the medium that I went to, she's very high guided divine channeler, and so in that reading I learned that he was actually my direct master in the Atlantis, excuse me. So and then I had no idea, and this was prior to me getting my shamanic practitioner program in place, and then a few months later I went into that, and yeah, sure enough, he's actually my shamanic teacher as well. So it just goes to show that sometimes the journey goes into a full circle, and you just never know how this leads to what. So candles are very, very important. And another thing I want to mention is that when the energy is present, you will see when you light up the candle, it's just going to sizzle, right? So you'll see the crackling, sizzling sound or hear it. And if you've seen that with your candles, just know that it's the energy that you are bringing in or you work with. So these are some of the most important things to kind of watch out as well. So candles are amazing. You can look up candle colors and what they mean. The white one kind of goes for all, because it derives from actually the rainbow color. Like, even though the rainbow color is white, it just actually it goes into a different spectrum of colors, the 7 colors, and it emits from there. It's sort of something like that. You have to read that up, but it's pretty interesting when I found that part out, that it's actually, rainbow is actually white, and then it just emits the prism of colors around it. So yeah, that's what it is. And you get that beautiful 7 colors. So white goes with everything, especially if you're under a budget and you can't afford different colors of candles. Try to just get the white one. It's still fine. You've set that intention at least, and that's gonna still come a long way. So do that. As well as I want to mention incense. Incense is another one that is really, really good. They have different fragrance. You can research that. Any of that stuff you can find anywhere. They're common. So and if you have difficulty finding it in your area, try to look on Amazon or Etsy. These guys are really good with those. So yeah, and just see. I mean, if you're crafty enough, you can even make your candles, right? There's no rules to any of that stuff. With incense, there's different fragrance that are there. So go with the ones that call out to you the most, because you again setting the intention. One thing I do want to mention is that Goddess Green Tara, if anybody's drawn to her, she likes sandalwood incense, sandalwood incense. So if any of you are drawn to her work, or if she's one of your ascended masters or guides or whatever have you, she does like that. So yeah, you may want to purchase that one. Another thing that is very, very important is sage, right? It's good for clearing space, bringing in the good energy, taking out the bad energy, right? So you want to you want to do that on a weekly basis. So you've got sage, Palo Santo, you've got lemongrass, and there's few others that are great for burning. So what you do is, you burn them, and then let the smoke kind of go everywhere, and then you just air the place out, and it's very, very good for removing negative energy. So try to do that at least once a week, because that's really, really good for just removing any of that stuff. And yeah, it'll go a long way. Another one that I want to talk about is oils. Now, there's different ways of dealing with oils, and I'm just going to talk about two parts here. How did I say that? Okay, here. Yes, yeah, because I read write it. I'm jotting it really quickly because I want to finish this video. I've got a very long day ahead, so I'm trying to squeeze this video in between that. So oils for manifestation. Now, I want to say another thing is, I'm going to rewind this back here. Mystic at Crossroads. She's got a YouTube channel, and you want to write that down, Mystics at Crossroads. So she is really good with candle magic and manifestation and all that sort of thing. So you may want to check her channel out. And she actually talked about, and then I went actually in her website too, because I'm that kind of person personally. If I'm drawn to some person, I will check everything out that the person has listed. That's just the way that I am. I'm very, like I always think outside the box. If I find somebody's channel on YouTube, or if I find somebody's website, that's the first thing I'll do is I will, if that video or something resonated, I will go ahead and check everything that the person has, because chances are it's going to resonate somewhat to me. So I did check out her website, and she was selling this, and a lot of times the stuff is sold out, so it's hard to even order. But she sells these oils, and some of them are for money, manifestation, and what have you. So I was drawn to that, and then I did my own research. So I'm gonna give you guys the formula here on that, because I think that is very important, especially if you are trying to manifest some money or whatever have you, because stuff that you would not honestly, and she talks about it also in her channel too. So that's why I say go back and check her out, her channel as well, because she gives a lot of free stuff like that, like free insights. And a lot of times all these people that are manifesting or doing any of that stuff, a lot of the herbs actually come from your kitchen cupboard, believe it or not. It's coming from your pantry. It's not anything exciting, right? And people, if somebody's charging you thousands of dollars, I remember there was one freaking psychic, this was before my twin flame journey, this was years ago. I got how they con you is, they say, oh yeah, I've got this incense that I'm gonna be burning, and it's few $1,000s, so apparently this incense that she was talking about was made of gold or whatever, because yeah, apparently it had gold shaving. I have no idea, but that's how they try to milk you, right? So if you have any psychics or whatever have you that are gonna ever say that line to you, that oh yeah, I have this the $1,000 candle that I'm gonna be lighting up for you, there's no such thing, because you can see around you that your candles are not that expensive, your incense are not that expensive. So it's nothing like that. It's a lot of these things you can do yourself as well. So try to save your money, don't fall for that trap. The whole idea of the spiritual ascension journey is to do the work yourself. That's where the power is, right? Because if you're looking for somebody else to cast a spell or do that spell, it's not going to work anyway. So you're not on a twin flame journey. But yeah, the twin flame journey, you cannot manifest ever to be with your twin flame, but it'll actually help you manifest things like abundance and releasing some of their like I always talk to my clients about that, and I've done that many times, where I've gone back and I've actually looked or healed on an aspect of a past life trauma or some sort of trauma. And what I've done is I've actually set a ritual intention to ask for forgiveness from that person or this person or that person. You know, it's all a part of that. And I've used full moon and new moon manifestations as well, you know, just to help me further heal along, because that's something that I found that worked. And my clients actually give me feedback after they are, you know, because yeah, after they've had the session and whatever has come up, I'll tell them how to help release it. So it's part of releasing. So it's still part of the healing. So again, the work is all coming from them. It's not like, you know, you have a psychic or a healer doing these things for them, right? Because it's not going to work. You have to put in your own work, your own time, your own energy for things like that to work. So that's why all these tools are so important in your twin flame journey, because if things have come up that you need to release, you know, it's best to do that. And there's ways to do that sort of thing, because I find that helps. So yeah, back to the oils. I'll give you a list of the herbs that will work, and you can find any oil that's gonna have no fragrance. I know that jojoba oil is really good for that, because it's very bland. This is why makeup companies actually like using jojoba, because they can you know, put their own fragrance and they can manipulate it to whatever they want. So oil is oil. You can use any oil that has non-fragrance, and one of them that I liked was jojoba, so you can try that if you want. So what you're doing is, in a little pan, all you're doing is just heating up some cloves, some sage, and some rosemaries, some cinnamon, and there was well, these are the ones that I can remember, the 4. So try, and you can look them up as well. So you've got cinnamons, cloves, sage, as well as rosemary. Rosemary is really good for you know, setting the intention. So you can just you know, heat the oil up and allow it to cool down, and then after that you strain it. You strain it, you know, you can use a cloth to strain it, and then you can put them in a bottle. And then what you do with that is you know, you apply that on the candle all around, and then you burn that candle with whatever intention you've got. Again, this is not to get your twin flame back. It's not going to work, so why spend your money and your time? You know, it's not meant to, right? So, but you can manifest a lot of other things around that. Especially a good one would be money, because if you start to manifest money, then you will have money to invest in your twin flame journey, because you know that not everything is for free. There's free stuff there, but after a while it's not gonna work, and you'll need to start working with healers, because they help you access something that is way deeper than your normal stuff that you see. You know, it doesn't matter how talented you are, you still need to see your blind spots, and your healers will help you access that, right? So yeah, you know, it just goes a long way, or just even for your self betterment, whatever that may be, right? So money is important, so it's a good way to manifest. So try that, see if that works. Another one that I want to talk about is oils for bath. So a lot of people cannot do bath, because some of them don't have a bathtub. Some of them just can't deal with bath, you know. So another thing you can do is you can try doing foot soaks with that. So that will help as well. And there's tons of oils that are good for that purpose. Lavender is good, frankincense is good. You've got sage, right? Rose oil, you name it, you know, there's a whole bunch out there on the internet. So go ahead and take a look at it and see what they heal. Because yeah, if you should be doing at least once a month a good spiritual bath, because that's going to remove all your gunk and, you know, crap that you've got, you know, you know, that has released from your healing. Especially if you're working, I do this with all my clients. It doesn't matter if they're getting a reading or if they're working with me. Or I also mention it in my meditations as well. As soon as you've done my stuff, I don't care about anybody else, do those, because you need to, right? And if you don't do that, it's going to really, really be very excruciating. So you want to remove all that stuff. You know, I also talk about drinking lots of water, because you need to do that as well. So yeah, if you're doing any of my stuff, if I'm attached to anything, do that. That's very, very important. So I talk about salt as well, and I actually I wrote anything that I'm talking about here anyways. I'm gonna be linking all that information in the like the blogs that I have talked about in, so I'm gonna link that in the description so you can do an in-depth reading on that, because I talk about salt as well, and how salt is really important even for if you don't have time to do your bath or a foot soak, how just a regular application in your shower. I explain that in the blog. So you just get a little bit of half a teaspoon of salt. Usually I do Himalayan sea salt and sea salt, and this is the pure ones, not the ones that are iodized. So you have to look for those ones that are non-iodized. So yeah, I just after I have a shower, I just mix it in water, and if I'm showering with my hair, you know, like if I'm washing my hair, then it goes from head all the way down, and then I rinse it off. Or if not, then it'll be face, neck, and then down, right? So yeah, just see which one applies to you. Or I do that on a daily basis as well, along with weekly foot soaks. That's very, very important. So yeah, these things sound a lot, but when you actually get into a daily routine of it, that's where the magic is, right? You know, you're not gonna feel the things that everybody else is feeling, and you'll have more energy to keep going. So this is why I say that. Bug flower remedy is another one that I heard within the spiritual community, and then there was a one-on-one session that I had actually done with somebody that had more in-depth knowledge and was able to give me more of a prescription based on whatever stuff that I was working on in my twin flame journey. So that worked out well, and then actually started getting more deeper healing on that. So that's something that I swear by as well, because I know that it has helped me release and access things on a deeper level in my spiritual healing. So look that up, and just see which ones are actually beneficial for you, especially if you have abandonment issues or fear, or needing to control things, and be it sleep, anything that you have problems in your journey, on your blocks. Try to see what bug flower essence it corresponds with, and try to order that. You can order that from any place. I know Amazon sells quite a bit of that, so as well as you can go in directly into their website and order it from there too. So have a look at that. Another one that I want to talk about is crystals. Now, I know crystals are a lot of people's favorites, so I included that in here because I think that it's very crucial. And you can have as many crystals as you want. It'll help you work with whatever aspect that you are trying to work with. See what you are currently working with, and then go and buy a crystal that actually will correspond with that, right? You could get lots of jewelry as well. This is tiger's eye that I've got. Then I've got I don't know if you can see freshwater pearls, and then I've got this is a chakra bracelet, right? So go nuts, whatever, like I have a whole collection of it. So there's tons of information on that, but you want to maybe add that into your list as well, and see which ones that you want to wear and all that. Make sure that you get selenite, because selenite is one crystal that self-charges. So you want to get them on a plate. You want to purchase a plate. You can write that down, selenite plate. And what that does is that actually you can plop a bunch of your own jewelry, crystals, whatever have you, put it there and it'll actually charge. So you could do that as well. It's a great way of, you know, like just using that on a day-to-day basis. So the more crystals you work with, it's amazing. Another one that I want to talk about is Pendulum. I'm going to just link the video because you should look at that entire video, what I talk about and how to charge your crystals and why that tool is really, really good in your day-to-day you know, spiritual journey. Because, you know, you instead of you second guessing some of the things that are coming up, you can actually directly just you know, talk to the pendulum and see how you can actually use that. So everybody should have a pendulum, and if you don't have one, then yeah, it's something that you may want to purchase. So that's another one that I talk about, and that I will just link that entire video into the description so you can have a look at that, because that's important. I swear by limes, and I actually wrote an article on this. Now there's a story that I'll tell you very briefly here about the limes, because I knew that limes were amazing. Goddess Kali, now Lord Shiva and Shakti, both of them are my ascended masters, so guiding our twin flame union, me and my twins. So yeah, so I've always prayed to Goddess Kali, or, you know, Durga, Shakti, you know, they're all the same. Parvati, they're all the same, you know, goddess is just different manifestations. So I was already praying to her on Fridays, and, you know, one day I was driving and I just didn't feel like doing this. I'm like, oh, okay, screw this. I'm not gonna pray to you. Who cares, right? So I just said this to her. I'm like, why the hell should I pray to you every Friday offering you limes? You know, give me one freaking reason why. And I actually said it like that. And I think I've said this to you know, I've told this story before, but this kind of goes well with this particular video. 30 seconds later, not even kidding, I see my twin flame's name on a real estate board, loud and clear. And it was, there's two ways that you can spell his name, and it was exactly how he spells it. And it totally shut me up. I'm not saying that that's the reason why she said that, you know, yeah, you give me limes and I'll give you your twin flame. It wasn't, that's not what I got out of it. It just means that, you know what, you're on a twin flame journey. I am your ascended masters, right? So you got to put in your time. So that's what I got right out of it. So yeah, I never argued with her again. It's, you know, there's no point, because after that, what do you say? You don't say anything. It's like, okay, yes, ma'am. Right? So that's basically what it was. And yeah, I don't question things as they come in my journey, but I do have to say that some of the things that have shown up in my twin flame journey, I talk about it very openly, stuff like this, because it just goes to show that there is a higher force above us, and, you know, they help us in our day-to-day stuff. So, you know, and believe that. I think that's very, very important. So, which leads me into the next topic, but I'm just going to go about limes here. So limes are really amazing, and it's not just Hindus that actually believe limes are, you know, really good. Even in Feng Shui, they believe that as well. And then, of course, you know, in modern times, limes and lemons, they're actually considered a superfood. If you Google, or not Google, if you actually YouTube, you will see tons of videos on limes and lemons and how you can actually remove negative energy and stuff like that. There was one that I just tried it because, you know, it depends on, you know, you try everything, and I know that I did try that. Nothing came because there was no negative energy. But, you know, for people that actually have negative sort of energy, it may result in that. You'll have to look at the comments, you know, in those YouTube videos and just see if anybody had that. But there was one time, you know, you cut up I believe that was lemon or lime, you know, because they both work the same way. So, you know, you cut it up in half, and then you poke some cloves around that, and you throw some sea salt, and then you put that in a plate and you put it underneath your bed. So if there's going to be negative energy, the lemon or lime will actually change, and For me, it didn't, but you know, for I'm pretty sure it would have removed stuff, because it just goes to show that those things do work. I remember when I actually started that in 2018, I did the similar thing. I put sea salt and I just cut up a lime, cut it in, not all the way, but just in four corners, stuck some salt in there, and actually left it just in the front of the house and the back of the house. And I went back and checked on it. And I want to say within half hour, it was already turning brown. So that's how fast it was. And then when I, just threw it out and then, repeated the process, it was less and less and less. So the first initial time you do that, it actually will turn really brown. So yeah, I do believe that. So try working with those. I'll link that article and you can have a look at it, how I explain it. I activate them in the Kali mantra, just because, I have access, and actually mentioned that in my blog, which mantra that I actually activated. So you can actually put those in your bedside as well. I've done that, so it absorbs the energy, because at the end of the day, when you're going to bed, you want to sleep. You don't want to have, things lingering in your mind. You don't want bad energies lingering in your auric field. So yeah, it just kind of sucks all that out, right? So I also leave one in my purse. You can put them in your pocket, in your car, whatever have you. I'm just gonna, leave it to your imagination. You can actually even just leave it around the house, just anywhere, right? And then just change it. And yeah, I think that they work fantastically. And what does it cost you? Absolutely nothing. I mean, the cost of a lime, so. And for some of you, you can actually just pluck them from your tree, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but I'm just saying that they're so easily available, right? So anywhere you should be able to find them. So yeah, I do swear by that, and you may want to look at that. Now, another one that I want to talk about is amulets. It's good to have them. Like in my healing, like I'll give you an example. This is an ankh. I don't know if you can see. It has got Tree of Life in there. And this came into my healing last month really prominently. I kept seeing it. No, actually it was in late September. So then by the time it came to me, it was October. And it was part of my healing session with the healer. And I kept seeing it, and it was very, very prominent in my healing, because I had released some past life stuff and some karma around it and whatnot. It's just yeah, it was very, very intense healing. So when I kept seeing it in my session, I ended up actually getting the amulet and actually wear that, because it's going to help me heal that aspect, right? So if stuff like this come into your healing, do not ignore them, because you want to make sure that those kind of things, help you further along in your journey. So I think that that's very, very powerful. Now, another thing I want to talk about is journaling. So journal is very, very powerful, because you should be journaling anything that's showing up in your day-to-day, because especially if you're on a twin flame journey, everything comes in a rapid pace. So you should have a log of what's happening around you in terms of your journey. If you've seen something very specific, anything that's called out to you or whatever, just jot them down, and then you can go back and have a look at it, as opposed to trying to remember it 3 months later, or a week later, or 2 weeks later, because you're not going to remember everything, because there's going to be new things that you've actually seen. So keep a journal. If you're a good drawer, then you can draw some of the symbols and stuff like that you've seen, or then you can go and look up the meaning. Anytime you see a number that's coming to you rapidly, frequently, write that number down, and then go back and have a look. And meaning you go and research it, because instead of asking questions, there's tons of articles on everything. So put in your own work, right? And see it. I didn't get my answers from healers. They have no freaking clue. They only give you some of their best healing sessions ever, and what you see or what they don't even help you interpret it, which is just goes to show that it's just, you know, they only help you open up a portal, right? So, and that's it. Everything is your own homework. So usually after my healing sessions, I'm always looking for answers, and I do my own research and homework and all that, and try to make sense of what I've seen. So, and if there is some healers that'll tell you or help you a little bit, they only give you a little bit, and then the rest you have to put in your work. So and that's nothing wrong with what they do, whatever. I'm just telling you that you need to put in your own research. So the more you get self-efficient by looking for your own answers, the further you're going to go into your own journey, because not everybody will be able to give you answers. Your dreams, you know, unless you go into a good reading with a very good medium, they won't be able to interpret the dreams as well. You have to write your own dreams down, and then it'll reveal to you when the time is right. So all that stuff is very, very important, you know, and that's your own groundwork. So the more research you can do on your own, the better it is. And there's all sorts of information out there. So you need to do your research, right? Very, very important. Another thing, I'm just looking at the time because I got a jet. So I'm going to just quickly tell you one more aspect, and I'm going to close this, this video here. Another one I want to talk about is actually two things, because I'm gonna really breeze through this. So vision boards, another one is that. So I consider them very, very powerful, and we are towards the end of December now. So you want to make a really powerful vision board, and you want to actually hang them with the intention. So I know that vision boards come into fruition, especially mine did anyways. A lot of them did. So more than 80% of them did. So it just goes to show that it does work, right? So yeah, go ahead and make your vision board. I've got tons of articles on that. You can YouTube it, see which ones you find is really good for you. Another one is that you can do is journal scripting. And I know Clark Kinnelly, he shows you a lot on the journal scripting. I haven't actually gotten time to do them, but it's in my list to do for next year. So you want to actually do that. That's another aspect. Track your expenses. You may want to do that. Look at what that means in YouTube. There's tons of videos there. You know, you can also Google some articles on it, how to track your expenses and how to keep a tracking sheet of whatever you spend. So basically it's a compilement of what you make and what you spend. So, you know, you want to make sure that your budget is balanced somehow at the end, right? So that's another way of keeping track of all those things. So that's another manifestation tool to have. You can also build an altar. That's a must. I always talk about this, and this is not a twin flame altar, for God's sakes, you know, like, yeah, your twin flame may be amazing, but they're not that bloody amazing that you need to put them on an altar and pedestal and start worshiping them seriously. Like, if it's you, stop it, right? You know, but you do want to put, you know, your guides and your ascended masters, or, you know, any of their higher beings such as that, God, you want to build a altar so that, you know, you can actually do a lot of your you know, your manifestations, rituals and prayer and putting the intention. You know, you've got to put in that time as well. And that was that goddess Kali, you know, that Lime story that I'm talking about, right? You know, she made a very clear, she gave me a very clear answer, but I interpreted it differently because, yeah, you know, I mean, there's no such thing as me praying to her and then she's gonna just pluck my twin flame on my lap, right? It doesn't work that way. But what it does is it allows everything else around you to work, and, you know, and then eventually it may lead there, it may not, who knows. And I'm not, you know, I'm not telling you guys that's what it is, but I'm just saying that these kind of things do help in your spiritual journey. So yeah, with that, this was the shortest, I think, video that I've done. Well, actually, it's not that short, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this and you got many insights on that. And yeah, wishing you all the best in 2021. And with that, this was Twin Flame Union.